Three, two, one. We are live, guys. Welcome back to another backtesting session today. And I'm glad that you all had the chance to tune in. So we're going to go straight into the backtesting session and hope you will enjoy it. So we're going to be backtesting this. Sorry, I'll be backtesting, this ICT. And wait, what pairs were there? Let me see. Assets, EUGJ, oil. Let me go with GBP card. Good. Anyways, so I'll go to the daily time frame and do the top down analysis. Okay, start with the weekly actually. So you can see how the weekly is opening. First of all, what day are we at? We're on Monday. Good. Then on the weekly, you can see that we pushed higher, took out this high, then dropped into discount before continuing to push higher. So maybe you can expect retracement into this gap on the weekly and then you continue to push higher. But if we look further, what we want to expect on this week is a drop, push higher, then it comes back to normal since we like some kind of like a PO3. So it would be something like a drop right there, main move, and then the last move in the weeks, which will be from here up to these levels right there, which means I would like to take the continuation of trades from this low up to this high. And yeah, that's what I'm basically looking for. And then when I go on the lower time frame, such as the daily, I can see that we have some other levels as well. First of all, we have buy side liquidity resting above this high and this high, easy buy side like this. So I can call this like external buy side liquidity. And okay, okay, all right. So since we're on the daily time frame, we have two levels of buy side liquidity. Good. And one thing I would like to mark, so I have I don't know, this shows me that our bias then would be bullish, so we're pushing higher, and you can see that the recent lower high in this drop we passed through it, which means might expect some continuation to the upside. So that's basically it on the daily time frame. Marked out my buy side levels, and we can see that there is a really good fair value gap that we are rebalancing here, which gives us conviction that we are pushing even more higher. So this is the daily fair value gap. Then when I go to the 4 hour, I can see that we have some relatively equal highs first off, relatively equal lows as well, which means we might expect to take out these lows and disrespect this fair value gap. After all, we can see that we respected this one instead. This is the one where the candle didn't close below. I think it will be better if I would mark something like an order block. Let's see, can we find some order block this last up close candle here, or from here up to here, because this fair value gap has already been disrespected. So on the 3 hour, you can see from this side, from this perspective, that we have this order block. So instead I would consider that So it's a 3 hour order block. I'm gonna go on the 2 hour. You can see that pushed higher, took out these highs, then dropped into rebalance for a bit. We are at Monday. We're in Monday at 5, and yeah, let's see what price does, and then we will react. So previous day high, we'll see when we go on the lower time frame, such as the 30 minutes. So on the 30 minutes, we can see that the previous day high is right above, and I think it was about to be taken out. And when I got the 15 minute, you can see that we're still dropping. So let's see. So we drop into this order block like structure. It's from this big wick. You can see that when we go on 15 minute, you can see this down close candle right there. Let's see if it gets respected. So we drop below, and you can see that we created equal highs, which means it's a good draw on liquidity. We took out this low, sorry, sweep, good one right there. And in the 5 minute, you can see that this was the recent up close candle. We had a change in state of delivery, and I would like to see retracement to any of these fair value gaps before I enter. So we are not getting any drops so far, but on the 15 minute, I think we can get one into this gap. Aye. So maybe we should have entered on this inversion for sure retracement. Then you can see that we would have got a really good buy in this trade right here. Buy in this inversion, the retracement, stop loss slightly below here, and then you target the equal highs would have given you answer 1 to 3. But yeah, we wanted to wait a bit more, if I can say it like that. So let's see if we get another opportunity to enter. So you trace into this fair value gap. You can see that we continue to push higher as the day moves on. And I don't think Silver Bullet did anything big here on this day. From 10 right here, 10, good, to when this time it had created this fair value gap at the open, came retraced into it, then started rejecting and pushing higher. So this is a really nice one. So let's go to the next day. So you can see that the next day I think we took out buy side. You can see that we took out the first level of buy side liquidity, which was a previous day high, which was a daily high, as you can already see it. So now we can expect to continue have a continuation, such as a break of structure, and that's when we will target this next level of buy side liquidity. Anyways, for our same thing, you might expect a drop in the day. As London, so a small accumulation, drop in London, then New York pushes higher. The 2 hour. Let's see how it looks so far on the 15 minute, because that's when we really would like to look for an entry. So we first take out the previous day high, then we reverse a bit. I think here we're about to have the Judas swing. How does the 5 minute look like? 5 minute is looking clean, and this is, I think we're about to have the Judas swing and target these Asia lows, because we took out, you can see it right here, we took out the Asian highs, and then we created a high, a low, and then we failed to break above this high and shifted structure on this low. You can see how this candle has closed, which means we can have an entry to the downside, where we can target this low right there. I don't think we will target the previous day low. We will just have a small pip movement on the as a Judas swing. And let's see where price opened that day. Price opened somewhere here. which means price opened, rallied low, pushed higher. We can expect maybe to drop, take out these Asia lows, then we continue to push to the upside. Let's see. I think I will take some kind of entry there. My target will be here, and this will be it. If you go above, then if you would go above this Asian high, then that will be a loss for us. Let's take this entry, risk 0.5%. You can see how the wicks are looking like. It's trying to drop as hard as it can, and we end up hitting take profit still in London session. So yeah, let's go to the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, you can see that we failed to break above. We were creating really big wicks, and when I go to the 3 minute, you can see that we had a good gap here that's resisting this line. As long as we wouldn't close this line here, that means that we will be respecting the gap. So I think that will be all for the London session. Let's see how then it behaves later in year, because then this will be our accumulation, the manipulation in London, and I think here we would have got some kind of OTE. Let's see. So we're shifting a bit. I don't know. Let's see New York show up, and I think New York is about to start in a few. So looks like New York is going to drop because we failed to break the highs that we created in London, but instead persisted on dropping to the downside, as you can see, pushed into this order block, then dropped heavily, which means we might expect New York also to expand to the downside or consolidate at most. Which means we might be rebalancing a move from yesterday or yesterday but one, because when we put our fib from this low to this high, you can see that we are rebalancing and we are already in equilibrium. So when I go back to the 15 minute, you can see how it is consolidating, then creating any clear moves. Okay, now here we can look for something, even though it's the PM session. The 5 minute, you can see that we shifted somehow. So I don't know if we'll get an entry after this messy price action that there was. So we get a fair value gap provided, no retracement, but you can see that we end up pushing to the upside. Okay, so this is the next day. Asian sessions looking like this. It took out the Asian session took out the previous day high, and the market rallied higher overnight. So you can see this shift in there, shift in structure. It means market might be about to be persistent on dropping. So London is consolidating a bit. And you can see that we have this huge expansion move at 8:30, which is this news right here, consumer price index, ex food and energy year on year. So these were some news. That's why you can see, you know, but you can see that we are about to reach the targeted buy side liquidity. So if we would have found an entry, then we would have took it. But this is a really good proof that liquidity is there in the market and it's to be found at all costs. So TP gets taken out quickly, no delay, and market continues to rally up, which means on the daily, you can see that we have this big candle resting there, which took out buy side and marking a shift on the higher time frame. And when I go to the weekly, you can see that the next level of liquidity target will be this high, and by those means we would have something like we've already reached the consequent encroachment of this week, because you can also you can treat this as a fair value gap as well. From the open to the close of the week, you can see from the highest of the candle to the open of the candle, you can see that we have this consequent encroachment which has been tapped into. So which means our next level of liquidity will be above this high of, or above this week, exactly, right, like that. Then on the daily, drop here, then push. So which means that this candle is a good expansion candle. And then on the 2 hour, I think we're gonna wait for next day, no entry for today. Next day opens right. I think we have to rebalance our move, because that was a really crazy week. The weekly, sorry, on the like on the somewhere like on the 4 hour, we might need to rebalance from this low maybe to this high. So from this low to the high, we need to rebalance and retrace to discount and then buy again. The 2 hour now. I'm sorry, now I'll go to the 15 minute, like the time frame I'll be watching price. You can see that we accumulated in Asian session, create the previous day high. So we take out the previous day high and then we drop as London session starts. When I go to the 5 minute, I can see that we have a clean drop to the downside and a very big fair value gap after this shift, this internal shift on this low. Let's see how this reacts. It looks like we're going to continue to push higher. In the 15 minute, we're respecting this kind of, OB, and have a good fair value gap in here. So the move of London will be like an expansion to the upside, will be a manipulation to the upside. Back on the 5 minute, maybe if we'll get a fair value gap retracement, we can enter. If we trace to this inversion, let's see. So we have this inversion here. Just want tap in it like this one. Consider it gets respected and pushes to the next level of buy side. And as New York approaches, it will also push higher. Drops a few pips, and then pushes higher. You can see we would have approached, would have took out buy side, because a buy entry on here means that the stop loss will be right here, and your take profit will be this candle right here, giving you a 1 to 2 risk to reward. And when I go to consider, the next level of liquidity has also been taken out, so I think I'll be trading the liquidity strategy after all. Okay, good. And so this was the daily move, and I'm expecting New York to continue to expand to the upside, nothing more. Exactly, this is it. So next day open, sorry. Okay, first off, going on the daily, you can see that we have we're on a new day. This day was a really big push, no wicks, and on the 2 hour we're having something like this, kind of a drop, like the 1 hour. You can see that we're having a really, really crazy drop at 1. It's Friday, 14th July 2023. Now when I got the 15 minute, you can see that Asian session had this move to the upside. Then as soon as it closed, they started to drop. We use the 5 minute movement. We take out the Asian lows. There were some relatively equal lows, and as London opened, it opened with a really, really big gap. You can see it pushed higher, as crazy as it can, which means we might have a manipulation move to the upside, take out these Asian lows. And as you can see, we shifted structure, so a retracement into this gap it can be respected, considering that we also have a breaker right here. I don't think we'll be retracing into that gap. How does the 15 minute look like? Yeah, we're still pushing higher, so no entry provided. Simply, we would have entered there. This would have been our entry to target the upside, but I don't think I could enter now. This will be some kind of manipulation. Maybe I would like to wait for London to show some more clear signs, because I think this will be a stop out. London has started. I mean New York. Okay, this was a crazy day. You can see it's all in the same range. Previous day high was here, and whereas Friday's open. Friday's open is right here on this candle, and you can see that we're near there, which means this day was kind of break even in the morning, and it started to drop a bit, which means when you go to the day, you can see it was a down close candle somehow. So let's see how let's see how the next day behaves. Right, so on the 2 hour, you can see that we pushed higher, dropped, it failed to break above these highs. It fails to break above this high and close above it, which means if we shift here, we will might expect to see some sells. Then I go on the 15 minute and I wait for Asian session to end. Okay, good. So Asian session, we ended it and then took out these highs from Asia. Next candle looks a bit crazy, which means we might be about to drop. Then I think I'll go to 5 minutes right here. It's possible to shift on this low, so I might be ready to take an entry to target the downside. So we don't shift, but instead we close above there and then drop into this fair value gap here. You can see we trace into it at 3, exactly at 3, but we didn't have any kind of liquidity sweep, which means we might have our drawn liquidity somewhere at the highs. So okay, this will be this high, and this high. Considering the previous day high is right there, which means we might target the previous day high depending on what this candle shows us. So let's go slowly and see. You can see that we're rejecting this fair value gap, which means that will be my entry. I think this will be my entry. Rejection on this gap. Yeah, since we're rejecting this fair value gap, entry right there. So we're a bit far from the entry. So entry right here, we will target there, and the stop loss will be 1 to 2, aiming for the previous daily high. So since we're late to the entry, let's see what market does. The retracement, then we can enter off of it. So you have a retracement into this fair value gap, so we can buy the plus a few pips below. This will give us like a one hour. Maybe you can see, do we have any other drawn liquidity recently? None, but this will be like a 1 hour. Let's take this trade. Let's see if we can optimize it on the lower time frame. So we're facing this gap. which in the 1 minute it would look like this. So it's a one hour trade. This channel is really slow. Let's see how this trade goes. So we were about to hit take profit, and we end up hitting take profit after this roller coaster. You can see there wasn't a crazy one. How long did this trade take? Seems like way longer than we expected. An hour and 15. Okay, not a bad one. So let's now see what happens during New York. So we drop, as you can see, we're still in London though, which means this might be a false move to the upside, the manipulation before we actually drop. Let's see how the 1 hour looks like. Maybe we might be about to have, some kind of drop because we took out these highs, swept them out like this. Really, really good close of the candles. And then I got to the 15 minutes. I will just be wanting to wait for, sorry, 5 minutes. I will just be wanting to wait for a shift maybe below this low. Inversion, fair value gap, retracement, and then expect a drop, take out Asian highs, and maybe the previous day low if it's a possible drop on liquidity. So let's fast forward and see. New York's about to start. So you can see this low, we close below it, which marks a good market shift, and I don't think the 15-minute provided anything bigger. So let's see 5 minute. It's right here. From here to here, we have the MSS. Now when I got to 15, you can see we have a small fair value gap, but I don't think we will retrace back into it because it's kind of small. But if we do, yeah, then we can find an entry. Let's basically see how New York reacts. Okay, good. Okay, you can see that we're reaching small gaps, retracement, then we drop, small gaps, retracement, then we drop. The 15-minute is looking, it has a lot of wicks, but we will find a fair value gap clean fair value gap retracement before a drop. So we also have this gap. I don't know why I would choose to enter off of this one. After all, still have really, really long way until we take out this low, because this will be our target right here. So if I were to enter, then I would enter right here, because you can see we closed even below this kind of fair value gap, this one here, and we dropped, retraced back into it by this week. So then I'll plot my entry right there. Like to enter above this gap, then my target would be this one right there, and I think that will be all for the entry. Let's take this one, risk 1%. If New York manipulates us, then that's it. Simple. Ooh-wee. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Get a really crazy drop, then a really crazy push to the upside. 15-minute, how does the 15-minute look like? It's still 8:45, which means we're in the kill zones. So it pushes back up. We still have this other block lying there, so let's see if it respects it. It gets respected, which means we might get another entry possibly soon. Good. I see that price was delivered nicely. So the ideal entry would have been on this other block right here. Entry on the other block, and then we target to take out the Asian lows. This would have been a really nice one. Now, how does GU look like though? GBP, there's no GU anyways. So I think this will be enough to go to the next day open. Okay, so we already took out the previous day high. New York opened somewhere here, this candle, and we did a kind of manipulation to take off that high. And this swing to the upside is the one that provides the OTE, which means we get a small retracement and then we drop, creating the false move for the London session, the manipulation, and then we push to the upside. So if you get that, then that will be a really nice price delivery. But you can see that this day offered good price delivery on the daily PO3 candle because we open, rally up, drop, then close somewhere on the upside. So when I go to the next day open, I can see that Asia session we took out these highs. And I got the 5 minute now, but let me first have a look on the daily. How last day's candle, you can see how it was looking like. It was a really long wicked candle. And this day you may expect some expansion to the upside. So when I go now to the 1 hour, you can see that we took out the highs from yesterday and Asian highs, and we opened right here, dropped for a bit, and now I'll go to the 5 minute. That's where I'll be waiting for my entries. Okay, so London is about to start. So this is how the day starts. We push high, we drop, then London starts on this candle. We get a really good push that provides a fair value gap. Now let's go a bit slowly to see if we get a good retracement. We pierce into this gap here. What I think this shows us is that we would have we might have a Judas swing to the upside. But let's see how market react to this. I'm not going to take this trade. Just wait a bit. Can see how this candle is closing a little. It doesn't want to push above this high, which might give me second doubts, but that one proves it that yeah, we might actually not close. So we drop, 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 drop. Okay, at least right here now I can enter because now we've pushed into this fair value gap right here, which is in counting from this recent low created from here to here. This is the most ideal fair value gap. I don't know if from here to there we were in discount, but this fair value gap was in discount, which means we can have a buy entry in there. Stop loss really quite a big one because ideally we should enter here with the stop loss being there and targeting a 1 to 2. So which means here we'll target like a 1 to 1.3, something like that. So we're risking 1%. Now let's see how this goes. So it ends up hitting stop loss, even though it showed signs of rejection. Really crazy move. So let's see how London closes on the day. Okay, so London is behaving really crazy. Took out the highs, took out the lows, which means that it did a really crazy manipulation to the upside and created a low right here. So if you are to drop, it will be decided by New York session. So when I go on the 15 minute, you can see how this is looking like. So we don't have any higher draw that we took liquidity from, but so far we can see that we took this low, took out these lows here, and this low right here, took liquidity from it, then started pushing higher, which means we might expect some buys in New York. Okay, you have a good close above this high, but this will be a reaction to an OB right there, which means if here you would look for sales instead, like a sell right here and target the London low, just like this. Target London low. This will be your ideal trade, but it's 8:25. Let's see what 8:30 does since there is news. I stops us, stops the people who longed out, then proceeds to take profit. But this would have been a really good analysis. I don't know why it looks like it will continue to grow and like this. See, check from this gap right there. You can see how the wicks are pushing, but they're not breaking any higher. So what news was this? Retail sales control group, retail sales month on month. And go the next day open. Take out the high, we drop. Speculation that we're about to have a crazy bidder swing. First off, how does the daily look like? Looks like we're dropping some kind of rebalance, I don't know. It's like these days were a bit messy, may drop a bit. And how does the 1 hour look like? So we took out these highs from Asia. In the 5 minute, we'll expect an expansion to the downside after retracement to a POI. More favorable gap retracement than the drop. Good small order block right there. So let's see what New York does. Okay, this is looking clean. So we take out the high right there and a good rejection on this gap, which means my target will be this low from this downside move, because I would like to see London expand to the downside before giving us a push higher. But the reason, first off, when I got the 15 minute, I have a really good rejection zone right here. It's an order block from this downward move. You can see it drop, 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 order block right here. 5 minute on the order block. I could see a high taken out. Next thing I see is recent choppy lows taken out as well. Sorry, recent choppy lows taken out as well, with a good candle close and a fair value gap that is being respected so far. So I would like to enter here that goes above the high. Then maybe I will target like 1 2 3. So 1 2 3 is right there. And on my entry at risk less, as you can see we're in crazy losses. So save this. Now let's see how this goes. So it looks like we were stopped out already. because this candle is not respected, it hasn't respected the gap. So the expansion to the upside has been done by London. Now the drop after London, close below this candle, good sign that New York will drop to the downside. Now we want a retracement or KPOI before the drop, such as this order block right here or this breaker, then the drop. Back to the 5 minutes now. Okay, that's enough. 15-minute retracement on this will be 30-minute. Sorry, 30-minute. 30-minute is not a major retracement, but it's a retracement into this inversion fair value gap. And back to the 5 minute, you can see that we have a good fair value gap. So let's wait for 8:30 to do its thing. So 8:30, you can see you get a retracement into this order block right there. I mean into this fair value gap resting right there, which means that's where we would like to place our entries. So I'll be shorting, but then that will be a really short move, as you can see. You place your stop loss basically above that high, so I'll be take reading. I won't be taking this trade. So quick stop out. All right, now another high taken out, and then a quick shift. I don't know, we're predicting the direction, right? But the entries, the executions and entry criteria are not matching up. So we'll continue to backlist it and learn more about it. And thanks for joining this stream. Until we meet again, stay blessed. Peace.